recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivia Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivia Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Chris.
Yo, we going down to Sesame Street.
That's your impression of hardcore rap?
No. Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list.
Oh my God.
You were like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
And the rest of the Trivia Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Trivia Warfare. We are the podcast that takes the pub quiz out of the pub and brings it home to you. My name's Carmela, and it is June, so it is the Pride episode, y'all. I want to say happy Pride to all my fellow LGBTQ plus people, and we have a great episode here for you today. And because we have such a great episode, we have great people, and I'm going to introduce them to you now. First, we've got Liz Thaler. Hi, Liz.
Hey, Carmela.
How are you doing today?
I am pretty good. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Glad that you're here. We've also got Dane Kyle. Hi, Dane.
Hello. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride. We have Justin Mott.
Hello.
Hello. And we also have JP Adams. Hi, JP.
Hey, girl. Hey, happy Pride, everybody.
And I want to get to know you guys a little bit better. Liz, we'll start with you. I know you've been on the show before, but please remind everyone who you are, where you're from, and something fun about yourself.
Well, I'm speaking to you from beautiful, sunny Brooklyn, New York, as it is today. And I'm a theater person. As you might know from previous themed episodes, I, for 5 years, was artistic director of the Fresh Fruit Festival, an all-queer theater and arts festival, and I am now on the Leadership Council of the New York Shakespeare Exchange. Awesome.
Love it. Hopefully with lockdown coming down and the end of the pandemic, you can get back into the theaters pretty soon.
We are actually, the Shakespeare Exchange, gearing up for a new season, and you should check us out at nysx.org. I'm going to be directing Winter's Tale in the fall, our first ever outdoor production, and it's very, very exciting.
Hopefully you can get yourself a bear or some sort of equivalent. I'm sure there's a guy who can stand in for that.
That's going to be the big question.
All right, Dane, I want you to tell everyone where you're from and something fun about yourself.
I should have made a bear joke, like a gay.
That's what I was trying to do.
You're ahead of me, Carmela, as always.
I love a bear.
I was just thinking like a director. How am I going to do the bear?
Dane, let's move to you. Where are you from and something fun about yourself?
All right. So, yeah, I'm originally from Brisbane, Australia, but I live in Shanghai, China. And, I mean, that might be interesting in itself. But I work in education over here, but I also run a weekly pub quiz.
Oh, awesome. How did you end up in Shanghai? Is just for your job or?
Yeah, sort of. I've been in and out of China for about 10 years now. So originally I was 20 and I didn't really have any idea of what I was doing with my life, and China kind of filled that gap, as it were, and so I've been here ever since.
Awesome. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Justin, why don't you tell everyone where you are and something fun about yourself?
Again, I'm Justin Mott. I'm currently residing in Russellville, Arkansas. Something fun about myself. Oh, geez. I can't use the one I did last time I was on Trivia Warfare, which was backing a fire truck into a police car, because that'll get old pretty quick. So I guess I would say that I'm in 6 different D&D campaigns currently.
Oh, my gosh. I can barely keep up with the one that I'm in.
I was going to say, as someone who's been DMing for our group for over... How? That's so many campaigns.
The trick is to use intelligence as a dump stat so I don't have to remember anything.
Oh, that is a fair counter. I accept that.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm into that. No, that's awesome. That's a Herculean effort, in my opinion. And last but not least, JP, why don't you tell everyone where you are and something fun about yourself?
Well, hello, everyone. My name is JP. I currently work as a organized play / tournament representative for a large company that's based in Roanoke, Virginia. Something fun about myself. I really, really enjoy board games. I have a massive collection of over 200 games downstairs in my living room, but it's rare for me to get a Kickstarter in that I have a credit on. And I just got a Kickstarter in about a week ago called Good Puppers, which is published by Asmati Games. And I have a testing credit on this game. And so it was fantastic to open up the box, go through everything, and see my name in the credits of the game as one of the noted playtesters. So that was really cool.
Kickstarter's great. I've spent way too much money in Kickstarter, if I'm going to be completely honest. But
yeah, I was going to say how much money I've spent on Kickstarter in the past year. It is a number that exists.
Yes, I agree with that. Some of you may recognize JP's voice if you are fans of the Geek Bracket. He is the one who runs the Geek Bracket. And actually, your Pride Month stuff should be kicking off very shortly. Yeah,
we are going to have our Pride episodes coming out very, very shortly. If you aren't familiar with my show, it is a 5-round trivia podcast that focuses on pop culture geeky stuff. So if that is something that sounds like your jam, try out the Geek Bracket. It may be for you.
Yes. And in the month of June, you may hear some questions written by me.
I mean, maybe. I can't confirm or deny that.
Possible. You know, I've heard rumor.
I also realized, Carmela, I don't think we did pronouns at the beginning, did we?
We did not. We can do that if we want to do that now.
Yeah, I would just like to say this is Liz, and my pronouns are she, they. Either apply equally.
All right. Dane, if you want to go ahead and give your name and pronouns.
Yeah, my name is Dane Kyle, and I go by he, him.
Justin?
Just Mott. I go by he, him.
And JP.
My name is JP, and I also go by he, him pronouns.
All right. Awesome. So, like I said, today is the Pride episode, and Liz is going to be hosting for us today. But first, we need to warm it up with Warm It Up, Chris.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA, and that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
And Liz is also going to be bringing us the Warm It Up Chris question today. So what do you got for us, Liz?
So I am going to give you a bunch of words or phrases beginning with the letter L. And you're going to tell me, is this an episode title from the L word or just a phrase I got from a random from knowyourphrase.com from the L section?
I love it.
Just so you know, today's game was written kind of a little bit more geared towards 90s era lesbians, so y'all are a little bit in trouble. No, I mixed it up.
Darn, I would have had it.
And the list is randomized, and we will begin with Carmela, who's at the top of my screen.
Okay.
And yours is Last Straw.
Last straw. Oh, gosh. I'm just going to say that that's a random phrase from that website.
You are correct. That is random from the website.
Yes.
JP, yours is Limb from Limb. Sorry to overpronounce that.
Limb from Limb. I was actually thinking Last Straw would have been a title considering some of the broken relationships in that series. Limb from Limb? You know, I feel like there were enough drop-down, drag-out fights in that series. I'll go ahead and say that was an episode title.
You are correct. That was an episode. Oh, I should have put like the season. I should have put this like the season and episode number on my list in case you were like really aficionados and wanted to know, oh, was this the one where? I didn't do that. Sorry. 2 for 2. Great. Justin, yours is Level Playing Field.
That definitely sounds like an episode title, so I'll shoot for that.
That is random, my friend. Just
I knew I'd break the streak.
I don't know. Level playing field is not a good description of this round.
Dane, yours is Long in the Tooth.
Oh. I feel like that'd be an episode, I reckon. Maybe.
Could be, but was not. It is just random, unfortunately. Back to Carmela with L'chaim.
Oh gosh, that could go either way. I mean, most of these could go either way. I'm going to say that's an episode title.
Correct again. Yes, it was. Most of these could go either way. I am very mean.
I was going to wait. There are quite a few ways this could go a different way. We are talking about the L word here.
JP, yours is Let Sleeping Dogs Lie.
Ooh. I feel like L-word titles are a little more succinct than that, if memory serves, so I'm going to say that is just a random phrase.
You are correct. That is just a random phrase. Back to Justin with Luck Be a Lady.
Episode title, because if it's not, then I don't know what I'm doing here.
You do know what you're doing here then, because it is an episode title. Dane, yours is Livin' La Vida Loca.
Oh, a phrase.
It is an episode title, I'm afraid. Carmela, you have Lead, Follow, or Get Out of the Way.
Oh, gosh. Phrase.
That is an episode title. JP, Let Her Rip.
Let Her Rip. Ooh. So that hits the succinctness of an episode title. That feels plausible, but I can't actually put it in the timeline of the series anywhere. I'm going to say episode title. I feel like that's perfectly fine for a title.
It is a random phrase.
Ah, dang.
I found it amusing that the website spelled out her, let her rip. I've only seen it as let her rip, but still. Justin, Laughingstock.
Let's go episode title just so I can be one.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it is not an episode title.
We need confidence, Justin. Confidence.
Dane, Loneliest Number is yours.
Loneliest Number. It's definitely an episode title. Definitely an episode.
Definitely is correct.
Yes, I got one.
We'll go around one more time. Carmela, Long Time No See.
Oh, that could easily fit in some parts of that series. Let's go episode title.
No, it is a random phrase.
Darn it.
JP, Lobsters.
Lobsters. I think
phrase?
I was just lobster. I think because lobsters isn't a phrase, I have to go with episode title.
Yeah, I know, but I couldn't resist.
I mean, it's lobsters.
It's lobster. It's not.
I lobster, you lobster, we all lobster.
You know that famous phrase, lobsters?
Yeah, it was lobster.
It was worth it alone for Carmela's spit take. It was worth
it. Justin, yours is Leg Up.
Let's go with episode title.
No, that is a phrase, according to this site. And finally, Dane, Low Hanging Fruit.
Oh, well, yeah. Episode title.
It so sounds like one, right? Like the fruit, it's like a pun. No, that's just me being mean. That's a random phrase. Sorry.
Damn it.
We'll end it there. Some of the really obvious ones just randomly ended up lower on the list, like LGBTs and labia majora, which I had included on the list as another obvious one that I couldn't resist, but it just randomly ended up towards the end. So yeah, I think you did very well.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was fun. I guess I need to rewatch that series with all of its problematicness.
Maybe just.
All right.
And yeah, I thought it's funny that Last Straw came first. It does sound like an episode title. The final episode is titled Last Word.
Oh. Yeah, because it's the L word. Yeah. That makes sense.
There you have it.
Well, awesome.
Up. Thanks, Chris.
All right. Today's episode, as I said, Liz is hosting. It will be Justin and Dane versus me and JP. So let's get started with the game.
Players. Oh, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. This is Mr. Literature himself, cordially inviting you to the game. This is 6 rounds of trivia goodness. 3 questions per round. Every right answer gets you 10 points. In the middle, we'll take a pause for the cause and ask a midpoint question worth up to 20 juicy points. After round 6, you can wager any or all those points you've been building up and take a shot at the final round. It's a series of theme-based questions we call the Gauntlet. It's just that easy, baby. But this game ain't gonna play itself, players. Let's get it on.
All right, round 1. Question 1, your category is music. This first question, short and sweet. What is Lil Nas X's given first name?
All right, we're locked in.
All right, Dane and Justin, you can talk.
Well, I believe this is correct. I believe he's actually named after a car, the Ford Montero. It's Montero.
I'm good with it.
You're locked in?
Yep.
All right. Well, my autocorrect initially changed it to Monty 2. But his name is Montero Hill, and he actually just has a recent single that he uses his name on. So it's Montero.
Yeah, your hint was just that I expected you to know it at all, because it is the name of his very famous song that just came out, Montero. And it's a Mitsubishi Montero that he is named after, I believe. Right. But yeah, that is exact. But you're correct. Montero. Well done, both teams.
Yay.
And now we're going from short question to long question. Your category is the origins of love. You might know this from Plato's Symposium, or you might know this from Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Aristophanes' theory of human sexuality saw each of us as half of a sundered two-person unit, torn from our other half by the gods. Gay men originated as double male beings called children of the sun, and lesbians as double female beings called children of the earth. Straight people were essentially hermaphrodites, or, quote, androgynes, when in unified form, called children of what heavenly body? So we've got children of the sun, children of the earth, and children of blank.
We'll lock in.
All right, Carmela, the card was the 9 of hearts, so it's your choice.
Oh, sweet.
I mean, like, for me, it's like 51-49. I'm leaning 51 moons, stars 49, but I'm right with you. I'm split right down the middle on this and just don't have a way to go either direction.
Yeah, I mean, first instinct was Moon. It's been a long time since I've seen Hedwig. I listen to the soundtrack fairly often.
Yeah, Hedwig is surprisingly enough a theater blind spot for me, even after the NPH revival.
Yeah, Moon feels like it fits the triangle the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go with Moon.
Yeah.
All right, Dane and Justin.
Yeah, well, we talked about it. Moon would fill the other bit of the triangle well, but I don't know if it would be that obvious. Another thing is, if it was hermaphrodite, then, Hermaphrodite, I think, means like a combination of Hermes and Aphrodite, which would be Mercury and Venus. So we just stuck with Venus, I guess. That's what we said, Venus.
You said Venus?
Yeah.
I always thought it curious that it wasn't more of a combination of things or hermaphroditic, but it was in fact just Moon.
Oh wow! Yay!
Well done, Carmela and JP. All right, question 3, last one in round 1. Your category is love and rockets. Speaking of love, science writer and pro tennis player Tam O'Shaughnessy was the partner of what famous American scientist from the mid-'80s until the latter's death in 2012?
Carmela and I are locked in.
Great. Dane and Justin, you can talk.
It's one of those ones that rings a bell, but it's a very faint bell. I mean, the name Feynman is popping in my brain, but only because maybe he died around then, and not specifically because I have no idea.
Well, you came up with Feynman as an actual name. I was just going to throw out a Lucky Johnson.
Lucky Johnson, always a classic. Nothing's coming to mind, so should we just go with Feynman?
Good a guess as any.
Richard Feynman.
Great. Locked in with Richard Feynman. Carmela and JP.
So we apparently it was just on Orange Cat Trivia from what I just saw.
Yeah, I had this question on Thursday, and so literally when I saw the category, I'm just like, I think this is where this is going, but what's the ask? And then you gave the tennis player, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then 3 seconds later, I had the question typed up to Carmela, or the answer typed up to Carmela.
Yeah, it's Sally Ride, first American woman in space.
It is indeed. Yes, it didn't occur to me until after I wrote the question that Tam O'Shaughnessy, not particularly obviously gendered as a name.
Yep.
And then I decided not to be helpful.
Just remove gender.
But I did give Love and Rockets as a little bit of a clue in the category. So.
Yes.
Oh, damn it. I thought about that.
Well done. Yes, so with a perfect score at the end of round 1, we have Carmela and JP.
So at the end of round 1, JP and I have 30 points, and Justin and Kyle have 10. Good start to the game. Let's move into round 2.
Round 2, question 1. Your category is stage to screen. The 1997 film adaptation of Terrence McNally's Love, Valor, Compassion featured most of the original Broadway cast. Nathan Lane, however, was unavailable to reprise the role of Buzz, a costume designer and diehard musical theater fan recently diagnosed with HIV. So he was replaced with what TV actor? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Can we have the question title again, please?
You mean the category?
Yeah, the category.
Stage to screen.
All right, we're locked in.
Oh boy. Yeah, TV actor, 1997. We're back and forth. The thing about the end there, not that there's anything wrong with that. I would assume to be a clue, well, hopefully, because otherwise it got nothing, really nothing. But so we were trying to think, what was that from? In that era, Seinfeld, possibly. You were saying, Justin, that it reminded you of Jerry Stiller.
Well, I was trying to work on not that there's anything wrong with that as a catchphrase, which would lead me towards someone who's trying to be woke with the younger generation. So I was trying to picture all of the older sitcom actors, and Jerry Stiller was the one that just had the most traction, whether or not that traction is loose gravel or butter.
I mean, and as far as like a type of show that would do that, I mean, Seinfeld would probably be up there of, someone trying to be woke before woke was a term, but then hilariously failing or saying the wrong thing or whatever. I don't know. I mean, we might as well lock in with that if we don't.
Well, let me run this by you.
Okay.
Still going with the Seinfeld angle, but Jason Alexander has a pretty good track record on stage.
That is a very good, because I was thinking, because who would say that and who would, and if it would only be on that show, it would probably be George. So, and Jason, and you just reminded me, he did have, he did have quite a stage career. All right, well, yeah, I mean, if we're being led in that direction, and I mean, we may be completely wrong, but at least it's based on some kind of logic, isn't it?
That's great.
So, we didn't pull out of completely thin air. So yeah, I mean, we can go with Jason Alexander.
We'll lock in Jason Alexander.
All right, Carmela and JP.
You mentioned Jason Alexander.
I was about to say, yeah, we were. My first thing I posted in the chat history was like, all right, 90s sitcoms, let's go. And just listed a bunch of 90s sitcoms. We talked about Jason Alexander and we talked about Seinfeld, but we went with something else.
What did you went with?
It was between Jason Alexander and Eric McDermott of Will and Grace. And we decided Eric McDermott was playing a lot of queer characters in the 90s, so he seemed like a safer bet.
All right, so you locked in with Eric McDermott.
We did.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, is what George and Jerry repeatedly said in the episode where they were mistaken for a gay couple and wanted to assure people that they were not. If I were going to replace Nathan Lane with someone from that show, it would probably be Jason Alexander. Just based off kind of age and body type. And
that's why I mentioned him.
And that's what the producers of Love, Valor, Compassion did. Jason Alexander is right. I think you kind of pulled a Jonathan there, Dane.
Can we unmute Jonathan so we can hear the disembodied voice?
Yeah. Maybe that helped.
You shocked me there right at the end. That was beautiful to behold. I highly recommend that movie, by the way. It's a beautiful movie just about a bunch of gay men spending a weekend in the countryside, some of whom love each other and some of whom very much do not. And Jason Alexander is great, but you can very much see how Nathan Lane originated the role, and Jason Alexander is really trying to fill his shoes. Wow, well done.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys are great.
It was a spiritual connection with Jonathan. The microphone was left on it. Something happened.
Round 2 question to your category is Como se dice by visibility? So bring us back to 2021. Victoria De Angelis is the badass bisexual bassist of what Italian glam rock band which just won the grand prize at Eurovision last month?
All right, we're locked in.
I remember I've written a question about this, but I cannot remember the name of the band. I do know that it didn't sound Italian, so something that was, like it vaguely sounded like almost Scandinavian, I think, because it reminded me of the band that won years and years ago, the metal band with the wings, Lordi.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that's my only knowledge of Eurovision.
It was like and then it's in here somewhere, but I don't think I'm going to pull it off, and even if I do, it's probably going to be spelt horribly and unrecognizable. So.
So you want to go with the Scandinavian angle, or you want to go with the theological angle of the name?
I don't think it was like a name or a reference that I recognize, or like I might have been named after something that I don't know what it is, but it's not one of those names where it's like, oh, they're named, Aphrodite or Jupiter or whatever, or just spelled wrong, or, it's not a reference that I get. It may be. I don't know where they got the name from. I didn't read too much into it. So, thinking maybe it starts with a T, but that's not going to take us anywhere. And I'm going to go T and then an H, and then I'm going to pull out letters. I might as well lock out with something. The closest word, like, it's bumping up against something in my brain, and the closest word it is in my brain, in my jumbled up mess, is Thalmor, which is a Skyrim reference. So, I don't know, like, that may be, like, close to what it is. I don't know.
Well, going up against the Scandinavian angle that you initially thought of.
That's right, elves against Scandinavians, basically. Yeah, we'll lock in with Thalmor if you don't have anything else, Justin.
Go for it.
All right, is that locked in?
Yep.
Great. Carmela and JP.
The first thing I typed to Carmela was, it's something with skin in the name. It starts with an M.
Oh, M. Oh, God. Now I got it. Jeez.
And I believe, if I remember my Italian correctly, that the first part of the word is a reference to moon. But we wrote a Maneskin, Maneskin, something along those lines.
Yeah.
It's actually not Italian. Dane is right that it is. Victoria De Angelis is actually part Danish, and the band was just like, say some words in Danish, and she said the Danish word for moonlight, and they liked it, and so it doesn't mean anything specifically. They just liked the sound of the word, which is Maneskin. So yes, I had to look up how to say it. Don't worry, I'm not correcting your pronunciation. Like
no, you're good.
I don't know how Italian.
It is very similar to the Italian word for moon. And I
Yes.
think it's an O instead of an A. But
so yes, absolutely, Carmela and JP, Maneskin.
Yay!
And that song is fantastic. Like,
Oh my
the fact
God,
that that's
I'm
a
so
Eurovision
obsessed.
song that won, so good.
I'm so obsessed with them. It's a little, yeah.
I wish it was more popular in the U.S.
Gosh, seriously.
Anyway.
Get out.
Yeah. Damiano's 22 now.
Yeah.
The youngest one of them is 20. Anyway, round 2, question 3. We'll go from bi visibility to butch visibility. Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera are 2 of the 3 names most associated with the start of the 1970s Stonewall riots. Give me the third. A biracial butch drag king from New Orleans and well-known guardian of lesbians in Greenwich Village, she's believed to have yelled, "Why don't you guys do something?" while resisting arrest, rallying bystanders to fight back. Tell me her name. And hint to those who listened to last year's Pride episode, I made a brief reference to having had to look up how to pronounce her name.
Yeah, this is just me trying to remember how to say her last name.
Yeah, no judgment. Same with Måneskin. Like I said, she's from New Orleans. You need a cushion. I'm giving you lots of hints here, I realize.
We can look in.
All right.
I mean, if we don't have to write it out and you know how to pronounce it, by all means take it. Because, again, as I said, I need to know my Stonewall history better, and I just don't. And that is on me as a person who should know their history better and just doesn't.
I'm trying to figure out if this is even the right letter that it starts with. It's pretty sure the first name is Stormy, and it's like Delvine or Delavine or something. I'm trying to make sure I'm not confusing the last name with Cara Delevingne, which is what I'm afraid of. Delavine is probably going to be the closest I'm going to get to it, and if that's not close enough, then I don't know.
All right, let's ship it.
All right,
Dane and Justin.
Yes, I don't really know how to pronounce the name, but we had Stormy Delavery.
Yes, it is. It looks like it's Stormy, but she did say it's Stormy, and
it's got the E. It's got the
yeah.
accent on the E. So I've only ever seen it written down.
Yeah, and you said perfectly, Delavery. It's Delarverie. She put the emphasis on that second syllable, Delavery. Stormy Delavery passed away a few years ago. Really wonderful, fascinating person. One of the big three. So yes, points to Dane and Justin.
Didn't get quite close.
Carmela.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
At the end of the second round, Justin and Dane are closing the gap. It is now 40-30.
Round 3, question 1. Your category is literature.
Literature.
Novelist Patricia Highsmith was a lesbian who famously preferred the company of animals to humans of any gender. She once attended a cocktail party with a handbag containing a head of lettuce and over 100 snails, which she called her companions for the evening. That fact is unrelated to the question. I just desperately needed you to know it. Here is the question. Her novels have been adapted into acclaimed films, giving us 2 iconic queer title characters. One woman from 2015 and one man from, in his most famous incarnation, 1999. Give me the name of either with both for a bonus.
Can I have the name of the author again?
Patricia Highsmith. Oh, and I should specify, I don't remember if this is typical TWA protocol, but for these fictional characters, first or last name would suffice.
All right, cool. It works for me. All right, we're locked in.
Great. Dane and Justin, you can talk.
So 2 characters, possibilities. We could get either one of them. One of them is male, one of them is female. Is that correct?
Yes.
The most famous iteration of the male character was in 1999. The last question that I typed to you, Justin, before they locked in was, what year was Interview with a Vampire?
I think it was earlier than 99.
That's what I was thinking too.
Don't hold that to me.
Yeah, only because of incarnations and things, and I don't even know if that would be the thing, because vampires and...
So when the question said iteration, I was thinking that it's the same book/film made.
I don't know if
multiple
this
times.
makes a difference, but the question actually said incarnation.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes a difference.
The reason why I said Interview with a Vampire is because of the stat, but then first or last name, and then just a vampire, and then I'm not even sure if they were portrayed as queer or not, although, you know, that again, these are like side things. But I do know that particular character is cropped up in multiple films. Again.
And that's the right path to follow. Whether or not that leads us out of the woods or to a gingerbread house is another question.
And then 2015, in film, female character, that path, I don't know. I mean, in terms of films in 2015, just picking one out of thin air, do you have any idea? Or?
No, I couldn't come up with anything on that angle either. So I think we're strongest with the vampire theory, much like vampires themselves.
All right. Well, I mean, I can't think of anything else, and I'm probably hilariously wrong with the Interview with the Vampire connection, because, yeah, I do think maybe it was earlier than that. All right, Lestat then.
So you're locking in?
Yes.
Great. Carmela and JP.
So I was telling JP that when I was writing questions for his show, I was also looking at fun things about Patricia Highsmith. I missed the snail thing though. I didn't see that, but I am pretty familiar with her books.
Thank God I got to you.
Yeah. I'm going to remember those snails forever. But the 1999 movie is The Talented Mr. Ripley with Matt Damon and Jude Law. Interview with the Vampire, I believe, is an Anne Rice work. But a lot of vampires or creatures like that are definitely queer coded, whether they are intended to be or not. So I definitely understand why that struck for you.
Because it was like, but yeah, sometimes it's not exactly said, but you're right with the coding, like
right, yeah.
And then maybe before, they were coded that way, and then later on the author said, oh yeah, they were queer all along, and here's the thing, because now it was safe for them to do so. But, I don't know. Yeah,
no, I totally understand why you went that way. But the 1999 work is definitely The Talented Mr. Ripley. So the character there is Mr. Ripley. The 2015 work is Strangers on a Train, and I don't remember her name. So we went with Mr. Ripley, and we're throwing in a Lucky Johnson just for a Hail Mary.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just looking up Strangers on a Train.
Or maybe am I thinking of the wrong thing? It might be Girl on Train.
Strangers, I think that, that's so funny. So, Talented Mr. Ripley, yes, is absolutely the 1999. In terms of incarnation, there have been other adaptations of the Ripley books. Talented Mr. Ripley was the first one that had Ripley in the title. So, in case anyone's fact-checking me out there, I worded the question very carefully. I know Patricia Highsmith did not view him as gay, and he is not gay in the books, but in that movie he is very explicitly gay, so he is a queer title character in that film. And Patricia Highsmith did write Strangers on a Train. I don't believe there was a film of it in the past 60 years.
Yeah, 1951 was when that movie. I knew it was a movie.
Okay. There was another trainish movie, Lady on a Train, The Woman on the Train.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about an adaptation of The Price of Salt, which she wrote under a pseudonym. This is Carol.
Carol, yeah.
Recent, if you'd thought, what's a semi-recent movie with a female title character that's hella gay? Carol. So I was looking for Carol Aird and Tom Ripley, but Carmela and JP got the main question. You got Mr. Ripley.
Yep.
So well done. And you learned about the snails, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, we got that snail fact. That's what we should pull out of this.
Hashtag snail facts. All right, moving on. Round 3, question 2, sports. In 1975, Renee Richards won a landmark decision for transgender rights before the New York Supreme Court, allowing her to compete as a woman without submitting to a discriminatory chromosome test. What sport did she play?
We'll lock in.
So, track and field's not bad. I'm not. That would make sense. I think
with the
70s, tennis was super huge in the 70s.
Yeah, that's not bad either with the U.S. Open being hosted in New York.
And I feel like that would have more spotlight than track and field sports.
Yeah. I wasn't necessarily, I put track and field down, but more I was thinking about, marathon running.
Yeah.
More than anything, but track and field is technically where the marathon fits in.
Yeah.
75 is also an Olympics qualifying year for the 76 Olympics, which is also where I was leaning on that. But then again, I'm not sure where even the IOC was on trans athletes in the 70s either.
Right. I think I'm feeling more tennis. I mean, that's, after Battle of the Sexes and, having Billie Jean King break down those barriers. I don't know, tennis seems to ring true for me here.
Okay. The only thing that keeps me, and this is my stupid game theory brain of, hi, I basically work with games all day for a living. You did technically have a tennis-adjacent question in round 1. It's the only reason why I don't immediately jump in with you on tennis.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But if you're feeling tennis more, my marathon running track and field is literally a stab in the dark of this makes sense in this time period. But if you've got justifications for tennis, which you do, I'm fine going with tennis.
All right, let's Let's go with tennis, and if I'm wrong, then I'll write your next month's questions.
Bro, you already wrote half my questions for this month. I don't need more questions. Shoot.
So we're gonna lock in with tennis.
Jane and Justin.
We also locked in with tennis.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, JP. Queer people like tennis. It's not my fault.
I mean, I like tennis too. Like, I'm following the French Open right now, and I'm loving everything that's happening in the French Open. And Naomi Osaka is a queen, and I love her.
Yeah, the answer is tennis. This also got a mention in the HBO miniseries The Lady and the Dale, which was very interesting. I had some qualms with it, but it was undeniably fascinating documentary. If anyone wants to check that out, it's only 4 episodes, and I do recommend it. Renee Richards, tennis player. Hurrah. Round 3, question 3. Category is fashion. Turn to the left. The online retailer GC2B primarily sells what?
We're locked in.
Dane and Justin.
GC2B. Oh, is it the only thing about product that I mentioned? Is it because do they make the Shiwi?
Yes, I do. I can't say I know the brand off the top of my head for the Shiwi.
I mean, I don't know. Like, that's the thing that popped into my head, but I don't know if that's. I can't think of anything else.
I wouldn't really call that fashion. Maybe
a fashion item,
home
right.
goods.
But right, home good. Yeah, I mean, you do technically wear it, don't you?
Fair. My only other guess to put out there would be gaffs. Pretty much undergarments that tuck your private bits in.
I don't know what to go. I mean, you could say undergarments, maybe specialized undergarments for that purpose.
And if we need to be more specific, then we will just keep mining down. All right, we will lock in with undergarments, and we will be more specific if required.
I need you to be more specific.
Of course. Then we shall go with gaffs, Dane.
So, undergarments for the purposes of...
He's talking about a gaff. You know
you.
what a gaff is, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still confident, Dane.
But you did say that word right. We also thought about undergarments, specifically, and we were just talking about a trans person in the last question, but these are specifically worn for maybe gender nonconforming women or trans men. We said binders.
There was not. So first of all, GC2B has been specifically coy about what it stands for. I think they know what it stands for, but they have not announced what it stands for. But yes, they are simply one of the biggest and most recommended purveyors of chest binders and compression garments, particularly for transmasculine people.
Yeah.
So you were absolutely, Dane and Justin, you were, that was great thinking, and you were very much on the right track, and you totally understood what I was asking, just were very close.
I'm glad I wasn't able to backfill the acronym now, because I was trying to figure out like where it actually worked in to get binders in to backfill the acronym, but if they're not even saying what it is.
we could try to guess, but we'd probably be wrong, and let's just not.
Yeah, I was like, the G probably stands for gender. That's about all I got.
Yeah, the P might stand for binders. Who knows?
Right.
Could be to be. Who knows?
All right.
They actually have like a cutesy. They responded to someone. We stand for stretching, shipping, and running convention booths. Otherwise, there's a lot of sitting involved here. Great job, teams.
Yep. So at the end of the third round, Carmela and JP have 70, Justin and Dane have 40. So we will get into the midpoint. What do you got for us, Liz?
Your category is Name That Lover. I will give you a fictional person, and you will give me the name of their famous lover. 4 names, and so you get points for each. I'll give you all the names, and then I'll give them to you again. First the list. Number 1, Achilles. Number 2, Shug Avery. Number 3, call back to the second question of the game, Hedwig Robinson. There are multiple acceptable answers for that one, but only give me one, whichever one you give me. And finally, Captain Raymond Holt. So again, that's Achilles, and I want his gay lover, not that poor prisoner of war they were all fighting over. Shug Avery, Hedwig Robinson, Captain Raymond Holt.
So this game has just made me realize I have to watch Hedwig and the Angry Inch again because
Same.
I mean, there are aspects. It's weird from a modern lens, from a contemporary lens.
Yeah,
it's not something you should think about as trans representation.
Yeah,
at all. I mean, she's simply not a trans woman.
Yeah,
but it is fascinating, and I think the movie is wonderful. And in some ways, I prefer it to the stage play. Like, I think it opens out really well.
I mean, I think Sugar Daddy is a great song.
It is a great song. Well, the score is incredible.
Yeah.
And the story's fascinating.
We can lock in.
We're struggling with really two of them, but...
I am right on the first one, though. That is Patroclus, right?
Yeah, I think...
My memory of Hades isn't that fragmented, right?
I think that makes sense for Achilles.
Okay.
And then Raymond Holt is from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. His husband's name is Kevin. That I know. I'm pretty sure Shug Avery is from The Color Purple, but I don't remember exactly. I'm trying to remember who Cynthia Erivo played in The Color Purple on stage.
Cynthia Erivo was Best Actress, which has to be Seeley.
Okay. So I mean, we can say Seeley there. At least it's, from the same work, whether or not it's true or not. It's the Hedwig one. That's why I started stalling, because I'm like, I don't know.
I know it's either the American GI that they fall in love with that results in them getting the operation that gets them out of Germany, or it's the American star that they fall in love with when they get there that then basically usurps Hedwig in popularity and becomes a mainstream success. Right. God help me if I can remember any of those names first or last for those characters.
Yeah, so we can throw in like another Lucky Johnson in there, just to move on, because I think
that's fine. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna say Patroclus, Seeley, Johnson, and Kevin.
And we can say Patroclus. The second one we had no idea about. Third one I think is Tommy, which I think is from Hedwig, the one that steals all the music and that. And then fourth one, Kevin.
Yeah.
So we put our Johnson on the second one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention Johnson.
That phrasing could have been better.
Yeah.
Both teams got a 3 out of 4. Yes, Patroclus or Patroclus for Achilles. Seeley and Shug Avery were the main lovers in The Color Purple. Hedwig married Luther Robinson. She was lovers with her bandmate Yitzhak, and then ultimately lovers with Tommy Gnosis, or originally Tommy Speck. And then Captain Raymond Holt was married to Kevin Cosner. So, yes, I had to look up his last name, but if you're curious, it's Cosner. So, very good. 3 for each of you.
All right. So after the midpoint, it is now 85 to 55. Carmela and JP are still in the lead.
Round 4, question 1. Your category is fun with words. Now, this next question is going to be timed. I'm going to read it twice, and then you'll have 1 minute to chat me your answer.
Okay.
So, what author of Tales of the City insists his name is real, even though it's a perfect anagram of "is a man I dreamt up"?
Is that final word up or of?
Up. U-P.
Understand. Thank you.
Ugh. Okay.
I'll make it a minute and a half. Okay. 15 seconds left. This is a trivia question, not a how good are you at anagrams question, is part of why I'm giving. This time limit is for you, because you're not going to. It doesn't anagram to Joe Jackson or something like that. I'll tell you that right now. It's, do you know who wrote Tales of the City, is what this question is. All right, that's time.
Well, we sent you our answer.
Yep. To be fair, I like our answer. I think our answer is perfect for this question. I don't see how it's wrong, because it's the answer to everything.
So, unless I am misunderstanding Skype chat, which is possible, I have no answer from Dane and Justin, and Carmela and JP locked in with Is that
yes.
correct?
Yeah. The sound of screaming into the void of the universe.
Oh, that's pretty close because I got Amanda and then a whole bunch of whatever other letters.
All right, this one's on me.
I mean, Tales of the City is a great series. Like, I remember watching a lot of the TV adaptations growing up, but life of me couldn't remember the author's name.
Well, the author's name is Armistead Maupin.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't going to pull out Maupin. I might have gotten to Armistead, but not that other one.
That's why I put a time limit on it.
That explains all the eyes.
Yeah, definitely explains all the eyes.
All right. Well, we'll put that with the snail facts.
Yeah. That's the name of this episode, #snail facts.
Pride of snails.
Can we convince the students that that's what all queer people do at cocktail parties?
I'm fine with this.
Or can we convince the non-straights that we should all just start doing Wait, I don't know why that's the thing I want. I like
then
cocktail
start
parties.
doing it.
All right. Include more snails at cocktail parties. All right, we're good.
Round 4, question 2. Your category is celebrate good times. Speaking of that particular city that Armistead Maupin wrote about, San Francisco's annual Folsom Street Fair celebrates what specific subculture?
We're locked in.
I was just about to type my answer. I think it was either BDSM or leather or something like that. A friend of mine was telling me about it. He used to live in San Francisco. I think that's definitely.
I grew up in the hot part of California, so we probably was not wearing leather, so that's a good enough answer for me.
BDSM, we'll go with that.
Yeah. This reminds me of the we were just talking about discourse not that long ago. Discourse going around Twitter whether or not kink belongs at Pride, and it obviously does. So I mean, but yeah, leather BDSM is what we have.
I was looking specifically for leather, but since you both said both, and in the spirit of queer love and togetherness, I will give it to you both. Because it is both. It is specifically leather Pride, but also it's BDSM. I think it's important to shout out leather as specifically a subculture that's historically important to queer history, distinct from generic BDSM. I think leather culture, BDSM is gay, is straight. Mm-hmm. Everyone wants a little BDSM. Who are we kidding? Leather is very important to queer history and queer rights, and Folsom celebrates it specifically. And I thought about being strict about it, but Folsom then mentions both in its mission statement. So I will, and you both mentioned both. So I will give points to both. Yay!
You being a permissive dom in this particular case.
Was that the reason for the question? The current discourse on apparently there's some kind of debate about whether or not it should happen in Pride.
This kind of thing crops up every couple. I grew up in the West Village, right near the parade. I grew up in Pride Central of New York City. And so this cycles through every couple years or so of maybe Pride should be kids safe. Maybe Pride should be kind of assimilated and less sexualized, and it's so tiresome.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I get that. It's not. It's not for everybody. I totally get that, but it's also at the same time of this is kind of what the history is, and it's also the way that they want it to go is we just don't want you to be visibly queer at Pride. And
the entire point of the discourse for me that it comes down to is representation matters. Why are we gatekeeping representation at our events?
Right.
My parents are straight. They've lived in the village since the 70s, and but they know what it was like during the AIDS crisis to just watch their friends disappear, to see people who they saw every day, and then just not see them the next day. And so much of the visibility of these subcultures is tied up in fighting for our lives, and fighting for our right to exist, standing up against like oppression and police brutality, and also like during the AIDS crisis, like against like a nation that didn't care that people were just dying, that healthy people were disappearing off the streets practically, and now just people who don't know any of that history are showing up and like telling people who lived through that and like were brave enough to wear their identity visibly that they can't do that. And it's
Yeah.
boring is the best thing I'll say about it.
The whole idea of being told to tone it down at Pride.
Yeah, like of all places, at Pride, you know. Oh, anyway, enough discourse.
Round 4, question 3. Television. What TV show, which aired for 2 seasons on Logo, centered on the lives of 4 black gay friends living in Los Angeles? They had a reunion special for charity last year, subtitled The Rona Chronicles, but I don't know if it involved the title character pairing everyone up 2 by 2.
We're locked in.
Oh, complete blank on this one. Again, like, well, it is a complete blank, because otherwise I would have said, oh, I've heard of this, or it's rung a bell. No, it might have passed me by. You were saying that there's a clue?
Well, the Pokemon 2x2 biblical reference for Noah's Ark and all of the animals together, but that's as much I got out of that question, since I am not a television person. So best we can come up with is a guess of Noah. Could be closer than anything else.
All right, Noah it is.
Yep, lock in with Noah.
All right, Carmela and JP.
Until you had asked this question, I had forgotten about the series Noah's Ark, and then you gave the 2x2 reference. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a show that was on Logo for a hot second. Yep. I was like, okay, it has to be that. So we locked in with Noah's Ark.
It is indeed Noah's Ark.
That's right. I mean, you know, we're just pulling out of thin air. It's no.
Yeah, I mean, you got it from the clue. I mean, it's just completing the title. You guys got super close.
Yeah.
All right. At the end of round 4, JP and Carmela are in the lead with 105. Justin and Dane have 65.
Round 5, question 1. Obligatory nerd shit.
Yeah.
DC's Doom Patrol features a genderqueer sentient street. Yes, street. They serve as a haven for the strange and the disenfranchised, providing a never-ending party where anyone is safe to let their freak flag fly. What's their name?
We can lock in.
Great. Carmela and JP?
Well...
We both found out that neither one of us has been watching Doom Patrol on HBO.
and also, surprisingly, even though I worked in a comic book store for 3 years, comic books are not part of my personal geekdom.
You have to watch Doom Patrol.
I know, and I've been told I have to watch Doom Patrol too. It's just there's
not enough people are talking about it, and I don't know why. I just got to it.
Is it on HBO Max or is it on the DC proprietary streaming?
It's not on the DC proprietary streaming because I don't have that.
HBO Max then. Yeah, I've been going through so many HBO Max series recently. I almost clocked one of the shows I'm watching right now, but it might be a question later in the game, so I'm not going to say that. But yeah, Doom Patrol has also been something that in trades I always saw on the shelf and like flip through. I'm just like, I am not high enough right now to actually understand what's happening in these books, and I put them back on the shelf. Because it's a wonderfully out there series that I have never read. And I feel really bad about that because I have no good guess on this.
And I feel like anyone who likes Umbrella Academy should definitely watch this. It's not the same, but it's like kind of like fucked up superhero family kind of vibe. Like it ticks different boxes, but I feel like if you like one, you'll like the other. And I should be clear, in the comics, this character is not genderqueer. They're more of a drag king with he/him pronouns, but otherwise pretty similar.
I was just like, well, we could go with Christopher Street. I mean, it would be, maybe a little on the nose, but I mean, that is where Stonewall is. So we could say their name is Christopher. So you want to go with that, JP?
I think that Christopher Street is both on the nose and a fantastic guess at this because I feel sad that I don't know, and now I'm going to hit up my person that I buy trades from and see if I can put Doom Patrol on the docket.
Yeah. All right, so we'll say Christopher Street.
So yeah, this is one of the, again, like, it was ringing a bell, and then because I haven't actually seen the series, but a friend of mine was raving to me about it, and I was familiar with the character from the comics, but again, it was just so long down. So me and Justin basically had a conversation where it was like he was throwing names at me, and I was like, I don't know, like Baker Street. No, it's like a first name. Like, I don't know, it's some first name, and it's like Allen Street, Jamie, Ashley, Blase, Tyler, Taylor. It's and finally it popped into my head, Danny the Street.
Yeah, I realized saying that Danny was male in the comics was a huge hint that it would be a traditionally male first name.
Well, but Danny couldn't be female as well.
No, it's absolutely. But I had a feeling that you locked in because you knew the answer, but I just wanted to make sure.
Eventually, it came to
Christopher Street is a great guess, especially since I'm a West Village girl. Named after a real life drag queen named Danny LaRue. The answer is Danny the Street.
Oh, it is Danny LaRue. So it is named after Danny LaRue, which is a British, of course, because it's Grant Morrison. Throwing in references. Yeah, Danny LaRue, yeah. It was in an episode of Mr. Bean, I think.
Great. Well done, Dan and Justin. Round 5, question 2. Famous firsts. Name the first trans woman of color to write and direct any episode of television. It was an episode of Pose, and the woman in question was already famous for a lot of other things, including her memoir, Redefining Realness.
We're locked in.
Is it Allen Street?
It's not
Jamie
Allen
Street? Ashley Street?
No. No, Blase, no. Yeah, Redefining Realness, I definitely have heard of, but again, I think we're going to have to blank on this. Just
Lucky Johnson.
Well, we might as well say Marsha P. Johnson.
A lucky Marsha P. Johnson. My Lord and Savior, Marsha P. Johnson.
Is that name be ever praised?
Is that what you're locking in with?
Yes.
Okay, great. Carmela and JP?
If you've never read either one of her memoirs, Redefining Realness or Surpassing Certainty, I certainly recommend them. They are very good. But yeah, JP and I wrote her name at the same time.
I think you beat me by literally like half of a nanosecond to get that entered in, because it literally was just like boop, boop, and they were just both in chat.
Yeah, it's Janet Mock.
Correct, Janet Mock. Round 5, question 3. Dead and Out of This World. Folk singer-songwriter Norma Tanega is seeing a resurgence thanks to What We Do in the Shadows, but she wrote much of her catalog during her relationship with what British soul and pop balladeer?
Get the performer's name one more time.
Norma Tanega.
What was the name of the category?
Dead and Out of This World.
All right, we're locked in.
Great. Dane and Justin?
Jar of nothing, bag of nothing, whatever you have of nothing.
By the power of Numbskull, we have nothing.
Yeah, not even a guess. Out of This World might be a clue. Then again, it might be a What We Do in the Shadows reference.
The only queer space-themed British pop I could think of was Ziggy Stardust. And to get even more niche into that category is beyond my capability.
Yeah, no, I mean, we can put Ziggy Stardust, the fictional character Ziggy Stardust.
Better than nothing.
Yep. Ziggy Stardust.
All right, locking in with Ziggy Stardust.
So the first thing that I thought of was, I wanted to say Elton John, but, did he have a public relationship with a woman, with a Rocket Man reference? And that's what JP and I were debating on. And then we came up with David Bowie, which fits the Out of the World reference better, as also he's no longer with us, so that the Dead and Out of This World thing, it made it fit better. So we ended up going with Bowie.
So Dead and Out of This World is a lyric from the Norma Tanega song You're Dead, which is the theme song to What We Do in the Shadows. I fear I led you a bit astray with that. I didn't want to give a category that outright gave the answer away, like Son of a Preacher Man or something like that, because Norma Tanega had a long relationship with Dusty Springfield, which is our answer.
Oh, well, okay. I didn't know that.
Same.
I didn't know she was British until I wrote this question.
Yeah, that I knew. I was in there, I was like, is Bonnie Tyler?
I double checked it like 5 times. I was like, she was, but
David Bowie being bi, I was like, oh, that might, work too. And, okay, that's fine.
No, as soon as I was like, oh yeah, the out of this world thing was very misleading. So,
yeah.
Sorry about that, but.
It's all right. It's all good. At the end of round 5, Carmela and JP have 115. Justin and Dane have 75. So let's get into the last round before the gauntlet.
Round 6, question 1. Your category is Ready to Rumble. 1 is the first openly gay woman wrestler in the WWE with a wicked last name. The other is the first openly transgender wrestler to sign with any major American wrestling promotion, in her case, AEW, with a floral last name. Name either or both for a bonus. And I intended this to be clear, so if it wasn't, I'll add it now. These are currently active wrestlers.
We're locked in.
Dane and Justin, you can talk.
Wrestling is not something I've watched in, a decade or more. Not really something I keep up with. Though I did hear something about a WWE wrestler. I did remember something about, and then the last name you said Wicked, so I think DeVille, Sonya Deville, because I've heard of her. But transgender floral name, I don't know. And again, Justin was being helpful with the rose, thorn, cactus, and I'm like, well, it's not Cactus Jack. But no, Fern. Fern's a good name. I don't know. Maybe we'll go Fern for the other one. It's Sonya Deville and Fern. Yep.
I really like Deville. I feel like I've come across that name before, and it just did not get pushed to the forefront as I was thinking through our evil, or it's not our evil, but our wicked synonym thread that we had going on.
Yeah. Because I didn't know this. I don't really consume a lot of wrestling content. So we just basically did the, let's throw out some words and see what fits. So we ended up going with Spellman and Rose.
And
Spellman's good.
With Spellman as your main answer and Rose as the bonus?
Or WWE. Oh, yeah, I guess we do have to lock in a...
Yeah.
I like Rose as the one that's closer to right.
Yeah, let's do the Rose as the main one.
Yeah. And I assumed, Dane and Justin, that DeVille was your main answer and Fern was your bonus, just based, judging her.
Yeah. You did only ask the last name, didn't you?
I didn't specify, but generally, since they're real people, you only need the last name unless I specify. But don't worry, you gave me an accurate first name. It is Sonya Deville. Is the first openly gay woman wrestler in the WWE. And Nyla Rose is the first transgender wrestler in any major American wrestling promotion. And as far as I can tell, I didn't do deep research, but one of the very few Native American women professional wrestlers.
Oh, awesome.
I just a quick Google, I could only find like one other example, whose name I now forget. But Nyla Rose is very cool. They're both very cool, obviously. So Sonya Deville and Nyla Rose. So you each get the main points, no bonus for either of you.
All right.
I should have said with a cruel last name. That would have been
Yeah, that probably would have helped.
Round 6, question 2, category I too beneath your moon almighty sex. One of my favorite chaotic bisexuals is the first woman to win the Pulitzer Prize in Poetry, which she did in 1923 for The Ballad of the Harp Weaver. Who was this Byron of the West Village, whose performances, per the biography Savage Beauty, quote, made people feel they had seen the muse alive and just within reach?
We're locked in.
I shrug at you, sir, because I do not know the answer.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about literature, particularly queer literature, as perhaps I should. The name of Virginia Woolf is coming at me, but I don't know if that's the right person, and I have a feeling it isn't. Might as well just go with that.
Works with me.
While I was going through questions to write for JP's show.
I mean, at this point, I'm just glad that I asked you to write stuff for my show again.
Yeah.
It seems like, even though I don't have a clue on the answers, at least you've looked at the material and know the answers.
Yeah, I just wrote a whole queer question set like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, this is I have it on my to read list because I wanted to read it. It's Edna St. Vincent Millay.
Yes, one of my personal heroes. She had a narrow little 9-foot wide house near my childhood home that was a historical landmark that I used to make little pilgrimages to. I think before I knew what a chaotic bisexual was even. Yes, Edna St. Vincent Millay. Vincent to her friends. Well done indeed.
Thank you. I'm going to put that down with my snail facts. With a 9-foot wide house.
It was a converted, horse stall.
Oh, wow.
What do you call that? Stable.
Tiny house before tiny houses were a thing.
And that's where she wrote the Ballad of the Harp Weaver, I think. Round 6, question 3. Final question for the gauntlet, which means it's time for a showdown. Your category is, it's not the Rolling Thunder Pussy Review. That was one. That was one musician's complaint about the name Lilith Fair when it was created in 1997. She thought it was not radical enough. But plenty of acts still signed up. 18 on the main stage, but some names you'd recognize on the smaller stages as well. Give me as many acts as you can without giving me an incorrect one from the original 1997 Lilith Fair.
Oh, God.
And that is time. Let's get those chats if you haven't.
All right.
I have Carmela and JP's, so also Dane and Justin. And now you could just tell me your list.
Oh, okay. Just getting it from our chat because I kind of stream of consciousness kind of.
And once again, I was no help.
Yeah, and then
Let's still send
can
it.
I interest you in 80s hair metal? Is what? Like, well, yeah. I mean, you can interest me in that, as a matter of fact, but not exactly the demographic. I had 6 names. If I'm wrong with one of them, then so be it. But I think Sarah McLachlan, founded it, and then Tracy Chapman, Suzanne Vega, Jewel, Lisa Loeb, Sheryl Crow.
All right, Carmela and JP.
How did I forget about Tracy Chapman?
How did I forget about Lisa Loeb?
Of course, Tracy Chapman would have done it.
Yeah.
We only felt comfortable with 3. We said Jewel, Sarah McLachlan, and Sheryl Crow.
Both teams sent me entirely correct lists.
Which
So
means
well
they
done.
get the point because they had 4 names.
Well done, guys. Well done.
Good job.
I won't read you I'll read you the full main stage, which was Sarah McLachlan, Sheryl Crow, Tracy Chapman, Jewel, Paula Cole, Suzanne Vega, Mary Chapin Carpenter, Fiona Apple, Joan Osborne, The Cardigans, Emmylou Harris, Lisa Loeb, Indigo Girls, I'm surprised no one mentioned them, Sean Colvin, Meredith Brooks, Tracy Bonham, India R.E., Natalie Merchant. And some people you might have heard of from the second stages who maybe didn't play every day. Pat Benatar, Dido, Dara Williams.
I thought about Dido.
Dido, jeez.
I know, it's so early for Dido to me.
Yeah, that's why I
just
on it down.
I never would have guessed Dido. I just thought I'd
Yeah.
And the quote from the category title was from Ani DeFranco, who did not ever play Lilith Fair.
Oh, gotcha.
I guess because she thought
The name wasn't good enough.
What was the title again? Because that was brilliant.
Sorry. It's not the Rolling Thunder Pussy Review. It's what you wanted it to be called.
Yep, heading into the gauntlet, Carmela and JP have 135, and Justin and Dane have 95. These are good scores all around, especially for a super themed episode. And before we get into the gauntlet, we need to know what our category is, Liz.
Your category is the gay 90s.
Our wager is locked in.
All right, our wager's locked in.
All right. So gauntlet category, the gay 90s. Question 1, your category is the 1690s. In 1694, Britain's Queen Mary died, leaving her sister as heir. But King William III kept his sister-in-law out of government affairs for fear she was overly influenced by her rumored lover, the Duchess of Marlborough, who was Mary's sister.
Oh, we're locked in.
Well, I could be completely wrong, JP.
Oh, girl, I was gearing myself up to be like read the house down for like not knowing my like 1990s trivia, and then we get this. So I am good with that because I'm not going to come up with a better guess.
All right, then we'll just lock that in. All right, our answer is locked in.
All right. Question 2, the 1890s. In 1891, Oscar Wilde wrote this, his only French play, which was banned from Britain because of a general ban on depicting biblical characters on stage.
We're locked in.
I mean, we can lock in.
And finally, the 1990s. He's won a Tony for M. Butterfly and played countless doctors on the spectrum from good to complicit to outright evil. And in the 1990s, this openly gay actor voiced a Disney prince. Well, a Disney love interest.
All right, we're locked in.
Yeah, we're locked in.
All right. What did you call me, Carmela? A lenient dom?
A permissive dom.
Permissive dom?
Feel like I was permitted to do anything other than cry.
All right, worms. Question 1. In 1694, Britain's Queen Mary died, leaving her sister as heir. But King William III kept his sister-in-law out of government affairs for fear she was overly influenced by her rumored lover, the Duchess of Marlborough. Who was Mary's sister? Carmela and JP.
The only name that came to mind was Anne for Queen Anne. I feel like that was the right time frame for her. I know she was a queen in the 1700s, but it's trying to remember exactly when in the 1700s that she finally became queen, so we went with Anne.
Dane and Justin?
Yeah, we also went with Anne.
All right. Question 2. In 1891, Oscar Wilde wrote this, his only French play, which was banned from Britain because of a general ban on depicting biblical characters on stage. Carmela and JP.
I have like a collected works of Oscar Wilde, and I'm like it's all in one bound book, so you can't see the individual things, and I'm like staring at it going, come on. But I believe Salome was in French, so that's what we went with. And JP did verify that is a biblical reference, so Salome.
Yeah, in hindsight, maybe I should have looked up the collected plays of Oscar Wilde, because this always seems to come up. But no. And my initial answer was merde, but and then Justin piped up with we can rule out Jesus Christ Superstar.
My next offering was Goliath, starring Andre the Giant.
So I just thought we'd go, okay, well, maybe he wrote something about the Virgin Mary, so we put the Virgin Mary.
All right. He's won a Tony for M. Butterfly and played countless doctors on the spectrum from good to complicit to outright evil. And in the 1990s, this openly gay actor voiced a Disney prince. Well, a Disney love interest. Carmela and JP.
JP, this was you.
Yeah, voiced a loved interest, but to my knowledge didn't sing the English voice. I think that was Donny Osmond, but immediately you said M. Butterfly, and I started typing in Henry David Hwang, and I was like, and then you went away from M. Butterfly, and I was like, oh, well, this is everyone's favorite Law and Order SVU, Dr. B.D. Wong.
Dane and Justin.
Yep, B.D. Wong got that straight away. And Madame Butterfly put me on the right path as well. Yeah, B.D. Wong.
All right, we'll go slightly out of order. The 1690s. This question was basically, hey, remember that movie The Favorite? Yes. This was Queen Anne, the future Queen Anne. Even then, King William was like, that Duchess of Marlborough has way too much influence on her. So even though she was his heir, kept out of government affairs, he wouldn't let her be regent in his absence. Everyone knew that relationship was too much. Mm-hmm. Skipping to the 90s, yes, B.D. Wong, favorite SVU psychiatrist. Maybe he should have asked more questions about that dinosaur lab he was working in. Now he's Professor Hugo Strange. And he's a Tony Award winner, and he was the speaking voice of Li Shang in Mulan, but not the singing voice. You're correct. The beloved B.D. Wong. And now Oscar Wilde wrote this play in French, although it's been translated into English. This is a little-known fact about Jesus Christ Superstar, actually. No.
I got excited.
I'm not sure how he would pronounce this. This name has several different pronunciations. I don't know if it's Salome or Salome or Salome, but Carmela and JP swept the gauntlet. They are absolutely right. I did not know if this question was too hard for the gauntlet, and I almost took it out. But yes, very well done. Salome is the answer. So Carmela and JP have a correct gauntlet.
All right.
So let us hear your wagers, please.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a little bit of the drama out of it because we were ahead going in and we got the gauntlet right and the other team did not. But what did you wager, Justin and Dane?
Winner's bet 0.
Winner's bet 0. Hey, so you are going to finish with 95. That was, I understand why you went that way. JP and I were looking at it. We were 40 points ahead, so we could bet 39 safely. Or if we tried to lock you out, it would be 56. It's not much difference there, so we decided to go with the lockout, and we bet 56. So we will end the game with 191. So at the end of our third annual Pride episode, it is 191 to 95.
Congratulations, Carmela and JP. I feel like I threw some tricky stuff at you.
Yeah,
congratulations
this is great.
to all of you. You all, I threw some tricky stuff at all of you, and you all did quite well. I was kind of all over the Trivial Pursuit board, and kind of intentionally wanted to go a little deeper than I usually might into the catalog, especially since we've had a couple of Pride episodes already, and I wanted to make sure not to accidentally reuse.
I totally understand it. No, this was great. I had a great time with everyone here. So with that said, this is going to wrap up our Pride episode. Thank you all so much for listening. But before we go, I want to give everyone a chance to do any shout outs, any causes they want to promote. So we will start with the host. Liz, what do you got for me?
You know, people are able to go outside more these days, and I hope that everyone is just doing it considerately and responsibly, and I hope that just everyone is taking care of themselves and taking care of other people as well. Just a very general plea that, I love you all, and I wish good things for you, and that you're treating yourselves, but also being responsible and treating other people well.
I love it. Dane?
All I'd like to say is, especially at Pride Month, one organization that's close to my heart for a number of reasons is the Trevor Project. So if you'd like to do anything to donate or help out or anything like that, the Trevor Project does wonderful work for at-risk queer youth and things. And so yes, that's basically all I'll say is Trevor Project and any other charity along the same lines that you may wish to support, because they do need your support.
Yes, absolutely. Justin?
Everyone, it is Pride Month, as we keep iterating. That includes everyone. I know there's a lot of people that like to gatekeep the LGBTQ community to those initial letters, but keep in mind that there are subsets and others that are looking for acceptance in a group, which should be very accepting. So please keep in mind that everyone is welcome in this group.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you're here with me today, Justin. And last but not least, my illustrious teammate, JP.
Hey, it was great being on a team with you. Thank you for pulling me through in a couple sections where I was definitely lost today. Trevor Project is great. I have a friend of mine who actually works as a product manager with the Trevor Project, and I'm always happy to hear a shout out for them. I would like to shout out the big national causes are great, especially the crisis helplines that exist for queer youth, for trans youth. But local organizations are especially important, especially for youth growing up anywhere in the world. So I want to shout out a local group based in Ohio, which is where I am from originally, and that is the Kaleidoscope Youth Center, which is located in Central Ohio. You can visit them at kycohio.org. They do great networking. They do great events for queer youth in the Central Ohio area. I got a chance to work with them a couple of times when I was living in Columbus. I can't say enough how amazing a place they are to basically create a place where youth can go and be safe in being who they are. And I think that's an important thing to highlight, especially now that people are able to go out and be gathered together again. So Kaleidoscope Youth Center is my shout out this episode.
Awesome. All right. Well, for everyone here, thank you again, everyone, for being here with me today. This was a great episode. This was a great game, and I'm very happy that we got to do this again this year, and we are going to be doing it again next year. So for Liz, for Dane, for Justin, and for JP, this is Carmela, and this has been the Pride episode of Trivial Warfare, where it's not just trivia, it's war. Goodbye, everyone. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, join the community, and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit ProPodcastingServices.com.